Welcome back to Learn with your librarian. I know that this is a rough time right now for some of you, and you may be out of work. That's why I wanted to talk about VisualCV, a resume building tool that's brought to us by Gale's Testing and Reference Center database. The Testing and Reference Center database is available with an Onondaga County Public Library card for free. Writing a resume is a really tough thing to do. I know I've had to write a ton in the past and it's not fun. Luckily, VisualCV gives you the tools to help structure and format your resume with its various templates, suggestions, and professional looking designs. Today, I am going to walk you through the basic steps to access VisualCV in hopes that you and your loved ones will move toward gainful employment. Before we officially dig in, I want to start by providing you with my 5 resume writing tips. 1. Be specific. Your resume should not include every single work experience you've had over the last number of years. Think of your resume not as a comprehensive list of your career history, but as a marketing document selling you as the perfect person for the job. Secondly, make sure to keep your resume to 1 page. Resumes are supposed to be concise. No one wants to read a 10-page resume. 2. Create a master resume that serves as a list of all of your accomplishments and job experience. Keep this master list in a place that's easy to access, like the website that we're learning today, VisualCV. That way, when you see a job opening that you like, you can just pull straight from your master resume. 3. The goal of a resume is to get interviewers to hire you. Highlight your strongest assets and accomplishments. So, for example, if you worked as a secretary or customer service, try quantifying your duties and adding in your accomplishments, like saying that you answer 50 phone inquiries a day. It sounds a lot better than just saying, I answered customer inquiries via the phone. It makes your resume stand out and strengthens your skill set. 4. When describing your abilities and your responsibilities, make sure to use action verbs such as accomplished, contributed, aided, analyzed. This will help you paint a strong picture of your skills in action. And if you're having a hard time finding some action verbs, there are a lot of resources online if you just Google them. 5. Last but not least, double check for typos. I can't tell you how many times I've seen resumes with spelling errors or grammatical errors. Make sure you utilize that spell check and always reread it or have a friend reread your resume before you send it out. Now that I've shared my 5 resume writing tips, let's move on to the database itself. To start, open up an internet browser. You can use Safari, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. I'm using Google Chrome. Next, go up to the top of your page to your address bar and type in the Onondaga County Public Library's homepage, which is onlib.org. When you arrive to the homepage, click the green research button. It's on the middle of the screen here. That will pop down a list of all the different research opportunities through OCPL. Today, we are going to VisualCV, which is located under the online databases list. So you can click the photo, online databases, or A to Z database list. This is where things get a little tricky. VisualCV is not its own database. It's within another database called Testing and Education Reference Center. To get to the Testing and Education Reference Center, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom, which to T, and click that way. Or you can narrow down the databases by topic at the top here and find it that way. I'm going to go ahead and click Education and Careers and scroll down to T, Testing and Education Reference Center. Next, click the blue View Resource button on the right-hand side of the screen. Before you can get onto the database, you need to enter in your Onondaga County Public Library card barcode. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste mine in. Click sign in. The first page will ask, what type of student are you? You might have a little pop-up here. Pete the Panda from Peterson's is popping up. I'm just going to go ahead and X out of it because that's not what we need. So it asks, what type of student are you? While this database has a ton of different resources for high school students, such as SAT and ACT prep, different things for college students like GRE and other grad school exams. But today we are going to be looking at the resume builder, which is located under the career category. So click career, then click start. Today we are going to click the create a resume button here. But before we continue, I want to point out a couple things quickly. The Testing and Education Reference Center has wonderful resources for job seekers, including career advice. They have practice exams on the following careers. But today we are going to focus on building a resume. And as I showed you, we highlighted this button here and we'll click next. All right, on this page, just click the button. Right now, the Testing and Education Reference Center has 2 resume writing features for you to choose from. The first one is Resume Builder. That is an older version of their resume writing tool. I suggest not using that one as it will become unavailable on May 31st, so quite soon. The database recommends that we use the second one here, VisualCV Resume Creator. So click on that and then it will pop down a Start Now button, which will lead to a login screen. The database requires you to create a login, a username, and a password in order for you to save your work and come back to it at a later visit. I'm just going to go ahead and sign in with my information, which I already have saved into my computer, and press submit. This is what the typical homepage for VisualCV looks like. It's also called Dashboard. To get started on a resume, you'll click this blue Add CV or Resume. I just want to point out that when you see CV, a CV is an academic resume and is used for research and college and university teaching positions. A CV is typically much longer than a resume. So today we're going to just focus on a resume, which, as we talked about before, is only 1 page long. To start, I'm going to click this button here. You can either import a resume from your Word documents if you already have some of that information written down. You can use sample content, or you can start from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and click Start from Scratch. VisualCV has a variety of resume templates to choose from. If you're entering in an arts field, you might want to do something more creative like Vienna here or Onyx. If you're entering the business sector, you may want to have a resume that includes graphs and charts. But if you're looking to just create a regular, traditional resume, I recommend scrolling down all the way to the bottom of the templates here and choosing Standard or Monty. Today I'm going to go ahead and click Monty. Resume CV creates the layout for you, and it's super easy once you get started. All you really need to do is fill in the blanks. You can start off with your contact information, leading down to your work experience. You want to start off with your most recent position at the top, and then move down reverse chronologically from there. If you want to add a 4th prior work position, come up these little blue buttons here and click the plus sign. That's going to add another job down here. You can always delete this if you feel like it's not necessary by coming over to the light blue buttons and clicking the trash can. After work experience, VisualCV gives you the opportunity to put in your education, and it's formatted the same. So if you want to delete the section, you can press this trash can, or add another school, you can click the plus button, and you can do the same to each individual one. If you want to add any further sections, so if you want to add a summary that explains who you are and why you want the job,
Or if you want to add a skills section that highlights different skills that are pertinent to and relevant to the job that you're applying for, you can go ahead and add it here. I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and I want to let you know a few things. First, if you want to change your templates again, you can come back up to the left-hand side and change it there. Secondly, you can also alter the appearance of your resume. That means you can change the font of the header, so your contact information, and the font of the body, so the font of all of your personal details. You can change the colors of your resume, but I want to point out that the font and the colors that they're using here are quite professional. I recommend keeping them or keeping a similar shade. You can also increase or decrease the font size, the section margins, and the paragraph margins through this appearance tab right here. The next tab is page breaks. I don't think you really need to add any page breaks because it's a resume. This would be more for a CV, so we're going to skip over that one. Let me get rid of this. Where won't this go? I have to click off at the top. That's a tip. Next up, we have settings. And in your settings, you can change the title. So I'm going to change it to Kara's resume. And you can choose how you want your resume to be formatted. If you want to export only, that means that you can export your resume to a PDF or Word document. You can also change your resume to public so people can search for your resume on VisualCV. You can also change it to unlisted, which means that people cannot search for your resume, but if you send them a link to your resume on VisualCV.com, they will be able to access it because you have sent them that specific list. I'm going to go ahead and click Export Only. In order to save my resume, I can do one of a few things. I can come up here and click Share. I can share a link to a specific person, and that will link to the VisualCV resume as it looks like now. I can also download it as a Microsoft Word document, or you could do what I recommend, which is download as a PDF. If you want to create a master resume or a second resume for a different job application, come back up to the top left-hand corner of the screen and click the 3 lines there. That will bring you back to your dashboard. Your dashboard will list all of the different resumes that you create. It also will give you an option to work on things like a cover letter or a mock-up of a website that highlights your work. If you do decide to make your resume public, you can look at your stats up here as well and see how many people have actually looked at your resume as they're looking for candidates. You can also use VisualCV's own job searching tool. I recommend using another one like Indeed or whatnot that is a little bit more broad, but definitely check it out as another option. All right, so that's a basic overview of VisualCV.com. I know this was a very brief overview, but hopefully you learned the basic functions and features of VisualCV.
Thanks again for watching Learn with Your Librarian. I'm Kara. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email us at reference@cldnj.org. Good luck on your job search. We wish you the best. Thanks.